Okay, so you've got a lot of good suggestions on running vests and whatnot. Ultimate Direction is great. You've got some different brands over in the UK that you don't have here. I love my Osprey one. Actually, I have two from them, different sizes, and I recommend that to a lot of my clients. And if you have the option to try Osprey, go for it. They're a great company. The one thing I will say is trying them on in the store is pretty much always preferable versus ordering them online and trying them. It's very much kind of like shoes. Whatever feels the most comfortable is going to be the best option for you, most likely. Now, I will suggest going with a back or upper back hydration pack versus up front, because having too much weight up front will move your center of mass forward, and that loads your quads eccentrically a little bit, which adds up a lot over a long run and can really load those quads more than they might be comfortable with. So something. How hot is too hot to run? So I'm a runner training for the Badwater 135-mile ultramarathon in Death Valley, and it has gotten up to over 120 degrees Fahrenheit, over 50 degrees Celsius. And so, how hot is too hot to run? It's kind of like how cold is too cold to run. I've done negative 30 Fahrenheit, and in that case, it's just comes down to proper gear. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to go out in 120 degrees Fahrenheit weather. I would say that's too hot, but obviously people do it. Most of it comes down to like heat, acclimatization, hydration, nutrition, gear, etc., pacing. So how hot is too hot to run? It really just depends on your comfort levels, or if you don't even care about comfort. So when it comes to arch pain or really any kind of lower leg discomfort, changing shoes does definitely help. Even if the shoe isn't the actual problem, different shoes change how your feet are loaded, the movement slightly, so it's worth a try. Also, with arch discomfort, doing some lower leg, foot, ankle strength work, massage gunning, rolling it out on a golf ball can be really great. If you're trying to run and having to stop running, not running for a while can be something to consider as well. Maybe you're continually overloading it and you're just not giving it the time and the opportunity to heal up, to regenerate, etc. So just some quick thoughts there. Let me know what you think. Best tip to lower your heart rate while running is to run slower. Slower running at an easy conversational pace, running with your mouth closed, putting in incremental run walk breaks in there, like a minute walk every kilometer, or set a heart rate alert on your GPS watch, like 150 beats per minute, and if it goes off, you walk. That's what I have on my watch. If it hits 150 on an easy run, I go into walk mode, and doing so will let you run more frequently, more consistently. Your harder runs will be higher quality. You'll recover better. You'll feel better during and after and before your runs, and all of that with some strength work will have you running better at a lower heart rate. So as a vegan, I don't do honey, but I do maple syrup as a running fuel, and you can buy a 300-ish calorie reusable flask. Goo makes something like that as well. And you can fill it with honey, maple syrup, homemade gel stuff, whatever that's made of, and it works really well. Now, I do use that, or like dried dates or apricots or granola bars, homemade power balls for training, but for races I really prefer gels, partially because they're just easy, but also good gels, they have carb sources within the gel from a variety of sources. Your body can better handle in higher quantity more types of carbs, which is a drawback of some more natural sources. So when it comes to running a certain amount of distance per week and feeling tired while not running, there are a few considerations. Number one is, are you running too hard too often? Most runs for most people should be at a very easy conversational pace. You should not be out of breath. You should be able to hold a fairly normal conversation. I joke that you should be able to recite Shakespeare in its native Klingon. Are you eating enough? Are you losing weight? There's been some studies suggesting that lack of just energy intake is a big factor for overtraining syndrome. Not saying you have overtraining syndrome, but it affects just how you feel. Sleep is also a big factor. Are you cutting out sleep to get those runs in? So easy runs, enough sleep, enough calories are super important. So when it comes to running and strength training, there are 3 different kind of avenues you can go. The one that I've been experimenting with more frequently is the Sling Method, and it uses bands attached to like a wall behind you or in front of you to really mimic the running motion and put resistance in a horizontal way rather than up and down like squats or lunges, which isn't technically super running specific because you're not squatting and lunging while running. But if you want to look into some, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do more traditional strength work. I'm also a fan of Jay Johnson's hip, glute, core routines, and that's body weight stuff primarily. Now with lifting, check out Jay Dishery. He has a lot of good resources, a couple books, a lot of good information from him online as well. So preventing sweat, sunscreen combos from getting into my eyes. I don't put sunscreen up top here. I pretty much always run with a cap. Caps are helpful for the sun. They're helpful for the rain. They keep sweat from dripping down because they can, they have a band, so they kind of soak it up, maybe move it to the side a little bit. So I put sunscreen pretty much everywhere else, but not up top here. I just put it around here, on my back, blah, 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 blah. But the cap is where it's at, in my opinion, for the head. Good question. Long run before or after leg day in the gym. So for me, for most of my runners, it is the run and then strength work. I prefer them on the same day. I do my best, and I'm willing to work with people, but I do my best to make sure strength work, weightlifting sessions get done on run days. And it can be a workout day, it can be an easy run day, but it's not a rest day, because if it's a rest day and you go to the gym and you lift some weights, it's not a rest day. So, for example, I would do long run, and then I'm a big fan of tired leg runs, so I would do Saturday long run, Sunday easy 4 miles, and then go to the gym. Monday, total rest day. That's a good way to do it. So I haven't used the Alpha Flies, but I have used the Next Percent. And, just a general suggestion, my thoughts when it comes to running in these super shoes they are awesome. They are amazing. They're super light. They're pretty cushioned. They feel great. They're very expensive. And so how I use them is once or twice I'll use it before a race, during the race. So I spend a couple $100 on a pair of shoes. I only wear them a few times a year, a quarter, we'll say. If I do a marathon in the fall and a half marathon or 2 in the spring, I don't wear them that often, so they last me for 2 or 3 years. And I'm currently training a lot in my old 4%. They're still a good pair of shoes, they're just not quite as snappy. So highly recommend trying them out. So my favorite couple running books we'll go with are Running with the Kenyans by Adirandan Finn. He's also come out with a few new books since then. So I really like that one, Running with the Kenyans. And Depression Hates a Moving Target by Nita Sweeney. Both excellent books. They're not books that are so much like, oh, here's how to run, or, here's what a tempo run is. But they're very much about the story of the runners and how running, really affects and impacts us. So check those out.